back to the Multipliers podcast with me, Jake Walters, my co-host Sam, Joe and Luke. Today, a bit of an interesting one. Very interesting, actually. I've listened to this story and yeah, I could listen to it again and again. So today we're talking about someone in the room who's had an experience with something called, it's a psychedelic drug called ayahuasca. Ooh. And usually you have this experience in the depths of some form of jungle in another country. But yeah, we'd have 5 seconds of silence. Who do we think has done the ayahuasca trip? Luke? Sam?
Joe?
Yeah, correct.
Correct answer.
Correct answer. So yeah, it's Joe. Joe's had the experience. And for the listeners who don't understand, so start very basics. What's a psychedelic?
So first of all, I'll correct you. It's not a drug, and you'll get told off if you're by the shaman if you call it a drug. Is
that what they say?
Yeah, it's a medicine.
Okay.
So psychedelics is, well, what is the explanation of psychedelics? It alters the state of your mind, doesn't it? From reality, from what you know as reality to something else. So ayahuasca is two plants from the Amazon. So it's a Native American medicine. It dates back. There's evidence showing at least 1,000 years. They say it's been over like 2,000 years. It's been used for. So far longer than majority of medicines that we have in our cabinets at home and stuff, which have been going not even 100 years, 20 years, some of them, and all these tablets we put in our body. This is a medicine that's been used for literally thousands of years. So it's a mix of two plants from the Amazon, the Aya and the Huasca. I think that's how it's split. So one plant has DMT in it, which you might have heard of DMT before, and the other, basically, if you take DMT, I think it's basically your body won't accept it properly and it won't allow it to have the right effects. So basically the other plant counteracts it, so it allows it to do its magic, to work, to agree with your body, to go through this whole experience. How many species of different plants do you think there is in the Amazon rainforest?
Thousands.
Oh yeah, hundreds of thousands probably.
Of different species, not of plants. So how many different types in the Amazon? Have a guess. I've got the answer.
I'm gonna say like 100,000.
Yeah, 250,000.
170,017.
Mate, Sam wins every flipping time.
Hey, how does he know?
It's around 80,000 species of plants, right?
Yeah.
So that is a shitload. And these plants, which is crazy, is one of them, I can't remember which one, basically it has to have grown for at least 15 years, and then it's in the branch, you cut the branch open and it's part within the actual branch of this plant, right? And so it's a spiritual kind of experience anyway, and like they say, obviously it's been used for thousands of years. It's virtually impossible how they have to brew it in a certain way with certain measurements. This plant has to have grown for 15 years. There's 80,000 species, and it just so happens these two plants are the only plants that work together to make this whole thing happen. Like, it's just impossible.
It's like one in a billion.
How could you explain that? You can't. And like, so what they say is the shamans and stuff that work with this and take you through the experience, they say like the plants basically, they say like it called them kind of thing, like not out loud, not like, you alright mate, choose me. But it's like a spiritual, like,
just a quick question.
energy.
Sorry to cut you off, but for the viewers listening, what is a shaman? And how do you become a shaman?
Good question. And this is what you need to be careful on, which I'll touch on a little bit further down the line, but there's a lot of fake shamans as such. So I did it I sat with ayahuasca in Mexico. And you got to be, this is the biggest decision you got to make, right? There's a lot of people now trying to sell it, pretend they're a shaman, and they just became a shaman overnight. Like the shamans, the one that I went with, and the ones you want to go with, they are deep in the Amazon. They're living in the tribes. They've been around this for their whole lives. And it's been passed down generation to generation.
They're born into it.
They're
really.
just born like
the
into
royal family.
Yeah, exactly. And or like they've been in that environment. They've lived around all the plants and the whatever else, the medicines and the different tribes and stuff like that. So obviously there is ones that have then been taught by shamans and it's been passed on, but they do it, it's not meant to be about the money, you know, it's about helping people, it's about having this kind of talent or meaning, I guess, whatever you call it, that, you know, they have this meaning in life to help others, and they've been gifted the ability to connect with on a spiritual level and that type of thing. But yeah, so there's a lot of fake ones you've got to be careful with. If they're trying to make a load of money out of you and all this sort of thing, you've got to be really careful. That was the hardest decision, making sure you go to the right one, because I had spoke with a couple of people that had done it previously, and they said the same thing. You've got to be so careful. And
have they done it with the wrong one, or have they always done
No, with the right one, but not in the area where I was. So, you know, I couldn't really get any referrals. And a lot of where I was asking in Facebook groups and stuff like that, a lot of the referrals, it's like, you know, is that a genuine referral, or are you just trying to refer someone because it's their business sort of thing, you know, your mate's business or whatever. So that was a really hard decision, because from, you know, once you learn about the plant and stuff, like the guy that I spoke with, he said literally like the shaman, and that, you know, they're literally using music and instruments and their voices to like sing you back to your body and stuff. Like, you know, your life is literally in their hands. Like your soul leaves your body and it's on the shaman to get you back to your body, kind of thing. So it's like you don't want any old person in charge of that. Plus there's all other horror stories with it that you just got to be so careful with. But yeah, so anyway, it's been going for thousands of years. It's an incredible kind of how, you know, two plants come together. It's like that, like I say, the odds are just billions to one. It's like just kind of unexplainable.
So this kind of like the shamans say, the energy of the two plants
exactly
called them to combine them together.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you kind of got to believe in that, because what are the other chances?
There is no other.
If there's 80,000, and the combinations of those different 80,000,
and the timing, like 15 years, and like it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. So anyway, so I guess I'll start with.
Why do you want to take it?
So I'll start with how I first heard of it, and by the end of the podcast, by the end of this story, you'll understand a lot more about what it is and why I did it and whatever else. But so the first time I heard of it, I think was, we used to be a member of Platinum University. And so I was in the chat there, and one of the founders, Joe Moore, I think, it was Joe Moore. I remember him putting in the group chat. He said, "Sorry guys, I've been away for last week. I've been sat with like ayahuasca and all of this." And so of course we asked what it is, and when he explained it, he broke it down really well. And he said, sort of, you take it and it goes through like every single part of your body and your memories, and every little part of you goes through, breaks it down. And then, goes through this whole journey for a few hours, kind of thing. Just completely honest with yourself and whatever else. Spiritual journey. And then, kind of by the end of it, he said it was like zooming out on a chessboard of your life and just seeing exactly what moves to make next.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah, and I thought, wow. At the time, I was a bit. Obviously, I had the multiple companies. I was running 3 companies at the time, and knew I had to make decisions and, you know, where to focus my time and energy on, and what path I should be taking, and all this sort of thing. So I thought it just connected with me how he explained it in further detail. I was like, wow, like I need some of that. So me being naive, I said, "Oh, cool, have you got a number?" and he said, "No, it's not like that." He said, "No, it's not." So he said, no, it's not like that at all. And I said, so he's like, you can't. And I was like, so where can you get it from? And he said it's a spiritual thing. And then a lot of people, they say it calls you, right? And that's so many people you talk to, they're saying, "Oh, it will if you need it, it will call you. It will call you." I was thinking, that's great, but I kind of want to learn some more info. Can you just tell me, like, you know, a bit more info? And it's like, it was really hard people aren't that open with it.
Is it because they can't explain it, or they don't want to explain it?
It's not. No, he'd explained how it was and the journey of it, but not
where to go and how to.
Yeah, and this sort of thing, or direct referrals and whatever else. So that's another reason I kind of struggle. People just say, "Oh, like it will call you if you should be doing it and whatever." But anyway, so that was
such like a traumatic in a way experience it has to call you.
It has to
be ready, otherwise your mind's not.
So this is where I think. So that was just the first touch point. Didn't think too much of it after that. Whatever, you know, getting on with life. Then I'd started hearing about it a couple more times. I think I'd heard Joe Rogan talk about it. I'd heard a couple of famous people that had sat with it. I think Megan Fox and her,
I heard about
that guy.
Machine Gun Kelly.
And Joe Rogan spoke about it quite a lot. And I took more interest in it, done a little bit of research, watched some more videos, and I thought, oh wow, this sounds crazy. It's not something that you just do lightheartedly, sort of thing. But anyway, then me and my girlfriend were planning to perhaps go to Bali for, a couple of months, few months. I kind of just wanted to, after I sold my clothing company, I just wanted to get out for a while and figure out what I want to do. I was a little bit lost.
Yeah.
So this is where I think it was connecting with me quite a lot already. And then we was meant to go to Bali because of COVID and then travel and all this. We ended up changing and going to Mexico. So we went to Mexico. We wasn't ever meant to go to Mexico. It was easy to get into at the time. So we changed from Bali to Mexico. Got out to Mexico and I see, as you know, I think it was when we was in Tulum, I started seeing things about ayahuasca again, and I thought, then I realised.
What do you say you see things, what, like road signs?
Yeah, like signs and stuff like this, and I thought, and I saw like Joe Rogan on a sign talking about ayahuasca, but like, it's people trying to sell it to you and stuff, and they're the ones you don't want to go to, just there on the side of the road trying to sell it commercially.
Can you pick it up on the side of the
road?
No,
they're selling the experience.
They're selling the package, it's like a tour.
Yeah, as such. Ceremony.
Yeah.
But then what I realised is because it's legal out in Mexico.
Right.
So yeah, and that's obviously, I know Mexico's not, it's still, in the South America,
up and coming,
whatever. It's not Peru, and that's where mainly it's from. Like all your Peru, it's really popular and stuff. But Mexico's that side of the it's over that side of the world, isn't it? So, I started seeing all that, and I've got a bit interested. And I thought, like maybe this is the time and stuff. And then spoke to a couple more people. Someone my girlfriend was with out there. She had sat with it and recommended it, and just sort of we was out there for a few months. I just started learning a bit more, hearing about it more, watching more videos kept coming up for me. Then, funny enough, my girlfriend started actually running social media for that Joe that I was talking about, and then like he had been speaking about on a podcast, and like just as I walked in the room, because she had to listen to their podcast to then break down social media, literally as I walked in the room, like it was at the specific point of like him talking about the ayahuasca, and there was just all these mad things started happening, where I was thinking,
the law of attraction.
It was just pretty mad. Like there was a few things like that, but like it was weird, like she had listened to like 8 hours of podcasts, and it so happens like once I walked in when it was out loud, and it was like that point, and it's like these types of little signs, and I'm thinking, and more and more as I was feeling like I kind of need something to help guide me in the right direction. So anyway, I then sort of started researching, seeing where I could do it out there, and what, what's involved with it, how much it costs, etc., etc. And then I sort of said to Ella that I wanted to do it. She's a panicker kind of thing, so she was kind of a bit like, oh no, like da da da. But I just felt at that time I'd done a lot of research. I just felt like it was a good thing for me to do that. I wanted to do, and whilst we're out there, I thought, look, it's the perfect time. I want to do it. Ended up trying to basically find somewhere, and that was really hard because I knew I had to get it right where I was going. So I was asking in local chats and Reddit and Facebook and anyone I know out there, trying to, see if there's any introductions I could get. And I kind of actually went round in circles. So then I had one booked in, and then so basically you have to diet for, I think, like 2 weeks before. Strict diet, no alcohol, no junk food, not meat. Like I ate a strict vegan diet, no like salt, no pepper, no fizzy drinks, no like there was even things that I thought were healthy that you couldn't even have avocado. For some reason, there's certain foods you can't have, and so like you start looking at avocados, like, oh, that would be such a treat right now.
Guacamole in Mexico.
But I'm like, so literally, I was eating completely plain.
They send you a list, like all the things you can't have.
They send you a list. Plus, there's like research you do and stuff, because there's certain foods won't agree with it. You have to cleanse your body completely. It's just water, that's it. You eat really light. You eat a lot of fruit.
You must have lost a lot of weight as well.
Yeah, so it's like, so it was having to go out and find food was hard because you couldn't have like oily food, greasy food or anything. And when you're out and you can't make the food yourself, trying to find these places, it's like I was eating plain certain veg with like rice and lots of fruit.
You took it seriously.
Oh, you got to. Yeah, definitely. Especially because the thing is, right, so then, of course, it came up on Netflix, right, a documentary on ayahuasca. I thought, let's watch this. Watched it, and then about 20 minutes in, there was a guy basically saying he had heard about, he was on the verge of committing suicide, but he gave himself, I think, 6 months to say, like, he's going to take action on doing things within that 6 months to try and stop him from wanting to commit suicide. If it doesn't work and he's not in a better place, he'd commit suicide. He had heard about ayahuasca, so he went out to Peru and he was looking around and he was getting offered it just on the street and stuff like that, on a dodgy situation, and then went to one ceremony. Anyway, long story short, basically in this documentary, someone at the ceremony, he went, but he didn't participate at the first one. Someone within that died, right? So
whilst taking
in the ayahuasca
experience, retreat. Yeah. So I'm about to do this in a few weeks, and I've got
You're
Ella next to me, and so you know those situations where you're panicking to fuck now, but you're thinking I can't panic because, do you know what I mean? I've got Ella. No, I'm reassuring when actually now I'm scared, right? So,
yeah.
But so in the documentary, you've got to be strict with the diet. You've got to tell them if you're on any other drugs or medicine or anything like that. You have to tell them, right? And the guy hadn't told him, and then they went through his bag after. And he was on medications and stuff, which you can't muck around with it. Like, that's the thing. It's a serious thing. Like, you have to be completely honest with them. You got to stick to the diet. You got all this sort of thing, right? The guy was on like loads of meds, like for XYZ health problems. Like he had like 5 different pills a day. That's just, it is stupid at the end of the day. But anyway, so that's obviously happened in the documentary. That's now on Ella's head and
in your mind
and in my mind, yeah. But I could see clearly the guy was flipping on a load of meds, like that's just stupid.
Common sense.
Yeah,
that's why he died. Yeah.
So I was very strict with the diet, and you've got to kind of try and come off your phone, try and get real positive. Do a lot of meditating, be with nature, and all that sort of thing. So trying to like get into that kind of way of being for a few days before. But funny enough, anyway, I actually ended up changing the ceremony because the one I originally was going to go for ended up, suddenly I had like 3 more referrals from different avenues, and it all linked back to the same first place. So I thought, that's fine. Then I woke up on the Friday morning. They said that there's a ceremony Friday night. I was meant to be doing it the Saturday, so I was prepared already, but it's like, oh shit, it's tonight. So I was like, all right, okay, I'm doing it, let's do it. So I had to leave the island on a Friday night, go over back to mainland, met up with someone who was also going the same direction. They put me in touch with. He had actually done it like a few weeks before. And he said, look, they're a lovely family, this and that, put me at ease and stuff like that.
Well, I don't understand why you do it again. Sounds so traumatic anyway.
I mean, some people go and do it. A lot of people do it like you go to the retreats for 2 weeks where you do it like every day or like back. And I was thinking, I do not know how you do that.
Just for the viewers listening as well. So, what would you say the main reasons are why somebody could be interested in doing ayahuasca? Like, what are the benefits for somebody to experiment with ayahuasca?
So there's a whole load of. Let me get there in 2 seconds. Let me explain the next bit. That will come when I explain like the people, the different situations of why they were there. That will answer it. But so anyway, so I've met this guy. We go and meet. It's Friday night. We go and meet the family and the other people doing it, and they drive us. Then we get in with them. They drive us 7 kilometers deep into the jungle. It's dark. We get into the jungle. Now, the people next to me are just having a normal conversation, and I'm in the car thinking, "My God, if my mum knew I was doing this, on a Friday night, like she would kill me." And I was thinking, "Oh gosh, like I'm pretty nervous now." And we're just driving deep into the jungle. Got out the jungle. I'm not joking. You've never seen black like that. I just couldn't see anything. Got the torches. We've gone to like this clearing where there's a fire and stuff. There's bugs everywhere and whatever. But then once you get to the clearing, they have all the, the stuff to keep them away. and you have loads of spray and whatever. You just have like around the fire, you each have like a little rug and a pillow and stuff like that, and a bin which you're going to need, which I'll explain later. And yeah, you just each have a spot around the fire, and you have to go up and speak with them first and tell them your intention. You have to have an intention. You have to even write the intention down of why you're there and what you want to get out of it. And until after you've done that, you don't realize that's so important. So yeah, we've done all of that. And then, yeah, basically they get the ceremony started. So back to answer your question, there's the different types of people there initially at this point, from what I'm aware. There was someone that had been in the army and had gone through a lot of trauma. There's someone who had divorced his wife of X amount of years, and it was quite a messy thing. I didn't actually know at this point, but someone had lost a child. So a lot of people are there for
traumatic experience.
And I'm there thinking, I was there, so my intention
how do I make more money?
So I'm there with these people, like, you know, like feeling like I'm in some sort of rehab or something, and I'm like, they're all very much focused on
story, I suppose.
not at the start, but they're all very much there for past experiences, right? I was there for my future. So I was there, like, I wanted, my exact intention was I wanted clarity on where I should be focusing my time and what path I should take, where I should focus my time and energy, and to help me on the first step. Like, that's what I wanted to get out of it, right? So I'm at this point in my life. I've run multiple businesses, you know. That one did okay, this one's at a point, but it's not, you know, whatever. And it's like, not just business isn't just about the money, but it's your whole lifestyle revolves around running a business, doesn't it? Like, so it's like, it was more so about that. I don't want to get 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line and think, I've just spent 10 years doing something I didn't want to do, and I've learned now. Like, I wanted something to help me in that moment make a good decision on where to go, what the path should be, and focus my time and energy and just go for it and have clear kind of, you know, clarity. So that was my intention. So so anyway, so how it gets started, there's a couple of things. So there's it's called spelt rape, but it's called harpe. It's pronounced harpe. And when I researched it, I thought it's tobacco and some other spices and stuff. And I thought you just like breathe it in your nose, and it apparently it grounds you, gets you in a moment, you know, all of this thing makes you feel sort of gratitude. And it seemed quite light-hearted. I thought, okay, that's a nice way. I was at the start of the circle, right? So I was the one that started. I thought, okay, yeah, I've read about this online, and he explained it, and it all matches up. And I thought, okay, this is cool. Like, this is just the start. And my Lord, mate, it was up till ayahuasca and then up till Shanga, which I'll come on to. It was the most intense thing of my life. I was like, oh my God. They take this powder, the tobacco and this other stuff in like this pipe thing. And then they have to do it through each nostril, and they go like up your nose. My gosh, it's like ash and things, and it goes straight up, and it's the
ash
most
and all that in your
like tobacco stuff. It's like the most painful. Like at that moment, everyone's watching. At that moment, and when they say it brings you the moment, like I do not give a fuck about anyone else. I'm probably dribbling, my eyes are watering, and I'm just like this.
You got humbled real quick.
Literally nothing else. Okay. Like, that is it. That's it. You're in the moment. But it's like, you're just focused. I was just breathing. And they have to then, after this, they have to do it through the next nostril. I was like, fuck. But basically, they call it the third eye. It's the pineal gland, I think, something like that. It's in your brain. You actually naturally release DMT in your life potentially 3 times if you're a woman, sometimes an additional one. But when you're born, when you die, women, when they give natural birth quite often, and sometimes in these extreme circumstance things that happen in life, right? And that's why they say, like, your life flashes before your eyes. And he said that's DMT. That's a real thing. And that's basically what you then take, where it allows you to travel through all your memories and relive moments and stuff like that. So
this isn't even the ayahuasca.
This is what happens. So that gland, basically what they want to do. So from when you're born, it builds up calcium, and a lot of external impact and negative thoughts and whatever else builds up calcium in your body around this gland. So that thing up your nose basically breaks down the calcium and allows that to open up so that the medicine can work with that and kind of...
You haven't even started the medicine.
I haven't even
You're already off your tits.
Started, and I'm just like... just trying to breathe, trying to think. And I was thinking... And I was... It was like the gratitude and stuff like that, which I'd never really experienced before. And I was thinking, you know what? I'm done. I've had a good time. Yeah, I was like, look, I'm ready. Thank you for that. I kind of wanted to go. Now I've got to drink the ayahuasca. I was thinking, oh shit, this is already... I think I'd already thrown up a couple of times. Makes you throw up and cleanses your body. Yeah, I'd thrown up a few times. So I was thinking, all right, I've thrown up, whatever else. And then, yeah, the ayahuasca is a drink. So they pour it in it's in a glass. It's like this black drink. And so they handed that out to everyone, and then you all drink at the same time. It's the most disgusting thing ever. It's like just drinking a load of horrible.
What is it? Is it like a
it's
shot,
like mud.
or is it like a?
Yeah,
like
it's
a big
liquid.
drink?
It's no, it's like that much. Like
Right.
It's you try it, and in between, do you shot it or do you sip it? You just got to get it back as much as you can, but it tastes
Just a
horrific.
quick question. Like the
horrific.
shamans that are blowing this stuff up your nose
Yeah.
and giving you this milk
Yeah.
stuff, right? Like, what do they look like? I've got this image in my mind.
Milk
They've got like
stuff.
leaves and paint on their face. Or...
No, so it was a family. So you had the main guy, Arturo, legend, and you had his wife, you had his daughter helping, and you had another external person helping, and even the young kid, like 5-year-old, was there.
Wow.
But it
That's
balanced,
business.
yeah. But because of the energies of it, the male so dominant, they need the female energy to help balance it out. But no, he was, he had some like mad, like not chains, like
Ropes.
not gold chains, like natural kind of chains with
Stones or something.
like all sorts of crystals and this and that sort of thing on. But yeah, he was kind of just like a normal guy, to be honest. But yeah, they weren't kind of wild shamans with all bamboo off their heads and
Right,
stuff.
thank you for clearing that up. So you've got like the shot now. Are you all doing a shot at the same time?
Yeah, so then they open the ceremony and you all drink and they say, good trip. So what they had explained before is your body will try to resist even accepting it. Some people go in quicker than others. Some people kind of half go in. They said, so after about 35 minutes or so, he'll offer something called Shanga, which basically, if you're struggling to get into it, it will just push you straight away into the trip. You smoke it, it's another form of DMT, but it's just straight kind of, and that will push you into the ayahuasca trip. So that was in my mind, and I thought, anyway, so the ceremony starts, after about, now it's hard time-wise because time just then goes out the window, but about after probably like 10 minutes or something, started feeling all right. So I lied back, closed my eyes, and there's either singing or just playing instruments and music and stuff like that. There's no talking, but they're just creating kind of guiding you through this ceremony. It's like maracas, but like it's really like it's powerful stuff.
When I think of this, I just think of The Simpsons. Like,
Well, I was thinking the same thing with
Well,
the big
right,
boot
is there-
lady.
and you have like the fire, and then it's all
Is
just
there
like
any- is there
mumble.
any-
Yeah,
She'll go
kind of.
smoke
Is
into
that
her
what
as
it
well.
is?
Yeah, kind of
Is
like
it?
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of
I need
like
to
that.
watch that.
Yeah, kind of like that. But anyway, so I was lying there, so before what I had researched, so it's called Mother Ayahuasca, or some people call it Grandmother Ayahuasca. And it's because everyone that does it feels this female presence, right? Like a mother or grandmother ayahuasca. So as I started lying back and it started kind of kicking in, I was actually lying on my bag, but it kind of, the presence just felt like it was like a grandmother, like not mine, but just a grandmother presence, just supporting my head kind of behind me so I could just lie down and it was just there. Then it felt like, like it was just, I could feel kind of the mother presence as well there through the whole journey.
Would you say you felt safe when
Yeah,
you were...
and so that's it. So then, because then it's so strong, that presence, is you feel you've got nothing to worry about. You're there with, it's not your mum and your grandma, but it's that presence that you feel so safe and calm and relaxed. So then it's like, oh, like, and they was playing the maracas, and I was smiling. I was like dancing like this with my eyes closed. I was thinking, this is good. I was like, but already there was like someone over there screaming their head off and stuff like that, screaming, shouting, people throwing up everywhere, crying, and I was thinking, I'm just going to lie here and have a good time, it looks like, for the rest of the night. I was thinking, this is great. I feel good. I'm happy. Like, I'm relaxed. And so that was going on for a while. And then a few light light-hearted things were happening, but not really. And then he offered the Shanga. I heard him offer the Shanga, and I just remembered, I thought, this is great, but this isn't what I've read ayahuasca's like, and that's not why I was here. So I accepted the Shanga, and of course I was the first one again.
You're a man.
And the Shanga is, man, it's mental, like absolutely mental.
So it pushes you.
So they come, you smoke it. It's you have to take 3 pulls, and you go hold it in. And it's the 2 women came and kind of did it, and they just I don't know, like rub your head and pat your back and stuff, just make you feel comfortable, yeah. And they're there, and look, I just didn't want them to walk away after. I was like, please stay, and they've walked off to the next person. But so you do that, and literally after the first one you're in, and then you still have to take another one, and then by the third one it's literally like the vibrations is like through your body, yeah. Like that's the only way I can describe it every time, is just colours, patterns, shapes just rushed through your entire body, like you've just exploded of colours and patterns to like the entire universe, like just power just through your whole body, like crazy, like just not even describable. The most powerful thing ever.
Did you feel like you were still lying down on this?
No, I had been sat up at this point because I had to smoke the thing, and then they was kind of like, look, it's kind of breathe and this, and they had to go off to the next person. I was just like trying to breathe, but it was just mental.
Was you panicking, or you don't have time to panic?
Yeah, no, I was just trying to breathe, stay there in the moment. And thing is, this kicks you in now to the full trip where you lie back, and now everything's different. Like this, bearing in mind the jungle, you're 7 kilometers deep in Mexico, yeah, and you're in a clearing now. The sky, before I was on this anyway, was insane with the stars, and I love the stars and stuff. Anyway, now I went back, and I could see all the stars, but it's in a whole different kind of perspective and pattern. All the trees were, you had the mother presence within the trees, and the everything just changed your whole perspective, like. And that went so intense. Probably, although it felt like ages, I think it lasts about 15 minutes of intense, that DMT, but then you're in the rest of the trip. So I was kind of going, but it's like out of body experience, yeah. So I could kind of see what's going on if I had my eyes open, but it's like an out of body experience, kind of looking back over everything, and you're kind of going between different just between different kind of universes. Yeah. Like it's the only way to describe it. Like it's mental. And to touch on another thing, like to see like visions, like when I actually went to the toilet a bit after, like they was helping me there, I was like, oh my gosh, like you can see like kind of through the ground and stuff, like you can see all of the roots and the what's it called, the it's not the psilocybin, but all the what connects all the trees underneath the ground and stuff. And like you can see like just the nature and the different, it was mental. Like you can see the trees connecting and stuff, like with your eyes. It's just insane. But so anyway, I went through that real kind of intense phase, and then the journey as such got started really. And so to describe it, it goes through for me it went through different stages, and you have to kind of learn the lesson it's teaching you at each stage before you're going to move on, right? And it's this mother or grandmother ayahuasca helping you through all of this. And so you can imagine it's the whole presence is they want the best for you, but it's got to be honest. It's like it's still going to be tough love kind of thing, if that makes sense, through the whole journey. It's not, if they really want the best for you, your mum or whatever, they're still going to be tough on you, right? So like for instance, the first kind of scenario, I was just lying there and I could not see golf buggies there, but I was envisioning all the golf buggies, and they were just going past one by one, golf buggy, and then it stopped. Right, the golf buggy stopped, and
this is in your mind.
It's in your mind, yeah, of course it's in your mind, plus visuals and just Mother Ayahuasca taking you through this journey as such. So it's so like real. And to add context as well, like you can hear other people, see other people if you want, but you don't care about anything. Like, you wouldn't care if you pissed yourself, sort of thing. I didn't, but some people do. But you wouldn't care. Like, you're literally just in the moment, completely honest, open with yourself, like just you dive through every thought in your head, and you just you know, like I was speaking out loud a lot to Mother Ayahuasca, but you're kind of speaking to yourself, you know, and it's like everyone is, people are shouting or screaming, or you're just ignoring them, and you're just in your own kind of thoughts and whatever, your own kind of area. So yeah, the golf buggies were going, and then like one stopped, and then I started getting annoyed. I was like, get on my, like, you're blocking my view. Like the golf buggies were here in front of me, and then this one just stopped. So I just started getting annoyed, thinking, piss off, like, to the golf buggy. Anyway, this wasn't working. I was trying to look this way, that way, and it weren't budging out of like my vision as such. Anyway, you know, this stuff goes on for a while, and they lead you into different thought processes. But basically, the long story short is, for that one, it was like when I realised like to calm down, just be a bit more patient. Because it started to then just move slowly, and I was like, come on. Anyway, then when I realised, like, you know what, I need to be patient with it, right? And that's the lesson I just learned. So I'm kind of speaking it out loud, like patience. I need to have patience. Da, da, da. All of a sudden, the golf buggy starts moving, right? And then not only that, it started whizzing off. The golf buggy started, you know, as soon as it had gone, it was flying off. And it was like kind of the lesson it was kind of teaching me is like, if you have patience, and don't get annoyed, like when things start going your way, they can move quick, and things will go your way fast. Like, and it's these kind of lessons that it was teaching you, and you think, and you trust me, you can, until you accept the lesson and you realise the actual lesson. You might get it wrong and stuff. Till you learn it, the buggies won't fuck off, mate. Until you learn the lesson, the buggies aren't going nowhere.
How do they lead you into each, like the next bit? How is that done? Is that just randomly in your head?
It's Mother Ayahuasca. That's what
like
it is.
The shamans, no one's saying anything to you.
The shamans don't say anything. So everyone's going through their own journey. They of course, I mean, the music controls your body so much that they know when to up the music, or they're guiding everyone through this journey that probably gets more intense or darker or then lighter. So that's the whole thing. They're guiding the ceremony through music.
Different people have
different people will be going. No, it's all one thing, but people will obviously be going through different things.
Did you realise in the trip when the golf buggy started moving, you learned the lesson in that trip? Oh, I need to be patient. Or was it when you came out the trip, you're like, those golf buggies moved?
No, because you're on this. You're gone for like 6 hours. Oh, yeah. It's a long time, mate. It's really intense. Right, like really intense as well. Like at times, like I say, people are screaming. People that have been through trauma are screaming.
Is anyone having like a bad trip that you know?
Well, these people. Yeah. We'll get on to that.
A bad trip.
Yeah, I mean, everyone at the end comes out and it's great and it's done them well, and they needed to go through that. But I'll touch on a few of those stories in a second. So that's kind of how it's done. It's first, what I should have said at the start of the podcast is, you cannot explain it in words because it's far beyond even this universe what's going on. I'm not, so me trying to articulate it in words is an impossible task. I can do my very best and give you a bit of an idea, but ultimately you'll never be able to explain what it is unless you go through it. So
what other lessons would you say you learned from your ayahuasca?
Yeah, so there was like that. There was the patience. There was everyone had a little candle in front of their thing. And there was a bit where literally I can't remember what it was, but the story, and it was just another thing that just wouldn't leave, and it was just about like not worrying about other people's lights and them shining and stuff, and you just focus on your own light, your own sort of thing within, and this type of thing. And it's all visual stuff, getting guided by Mother Ayahuasca and Grandmother Ayahuasca, and they just lead you down these certain paths and journeys and thoughts as well. Like I think I've seen on Joe Rogan explain it as it's like 30 years of therapy or counselling in one sitting, and that's exactly how it is as well. It's like, you see, sometimes even to yourself, if you sit there for, and you try to think, you still confuse yourself. You don't know what you think. Sometimes you don't know what you think. Yeah. Whereas with this, it's, you just understood yourself and felt like someone else understood you. Like Mother Ayahuasca, you feel like, wow, someone fully understands every part of me and how I feel and what's good for me or what's bad for me and what, that type of thing. And you can wherever I was much more focused on the future, I didn't really go through any past experiences. Whereas there's people have said you can literally go back to relive like when you were born and stuff like that. Like literally your memories. At the end of the day, it's all in your memory. You've seen that when you was a baby. You saw what was going on. People, it's in there, and people have gone back to literally because maybe someone has acted a certain way and then what they realise is, you know, there was an issue when they was being born or something like that, and that's what had an effect on them down the line. And so because they realise that now, they then can understand it, process it, and let go of whatever, you know. Let's say, I don't know, you were getting choked as a baby or something from the cord and you managed to survive, but that makes you really angry later in life, and now they've gone back to that. They kind of process it, and it allows them to unlock new thought patterns in their brain, so then hopefully don't be as angry moving forward. It's that type of thing that it can help with you to understand. So this is where obviously everyone has a different experience, and a lot of people that go for trauma will have complete different experience to me, or, you know, they're recovering addicts and stuff like that. But for me, it would just help me just understand myself, understand my thought processes, and it was crazy.
What was the other experiences of like the other people around you? Obviously, you said you could open your eyes and you could see them.
Yeah.
Could you process it there and then, or was
not
it,
there
did
and
you talk
not,
about it afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you had a camera filming that camp, you'd think it was like a mental asylum. Like there was times where it's going really intense, where there's people just walking around the fire and people screaming and people throwing up everywhere. That's a big part.
So they show this on that Netflix documentary?
Not
really.
I'm not too sure.
You watch
Probably
anything
not.
like it? Have you watched anything that you think was similar to what you going through now?
But like even me, I remember like gripping all the ground and like probably just like, you know, shouting and whatever else. Not in a bad way, but still, like if you film me, you think this guy's
kind of like, sounds a bit like an exorcism.
It's a shame they don't offer you
it's exactly that.
As an upgrade, isn't it? Yeah, what's it called? A video one. You know that when you go on the rides.
$27.99.
I don't think I could bring myself to watch it back, but
probably wouldn't want to see it.
No, it's not a glamorized thing at all. This isn't a party drug that you go and have fun or think, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, it's intense. It is seriously intense. It's like, if you really thought about it, like just an exorcism or something. Like, everyone that goes through it, and then comes out with a positive experience and says, you know, I literally was in a group of people that has changed their lives. So for instance, there was one guy 2 things away from me, right? Midway through the ceremony, they hadn't stopped singing, playing music, whatever. And basically, the shaman, they all take a little bit themselves, a small amount, but so they can connect as well and feel the energy. And like he says, what if he gets the message and feels the energy and gets whole, like that he, you know, from Mother Ayahuasca, that you're in need of help, or you need extra help, or you need some more ayahuasca, or whatever it is, you might see him here, come over and help you, or whatever. So that's how it works. You don't put your hand up, you don't talk nothing. It's when he gets that feeling, right? So this is where things get mad. So 2 people along from me, the shaman, the guy had been screaming earlier in the night and going whatever. The shaman went over to him, right? And he started like putting his hand over him. And then the shaman like turned on and he's like, ugh, ugh. And I was thinking, what's going on here? And I'm obviously, you're not really with it, but you can see. And so he kept putting his hand over this guy, and the guy's lying down, putting his hand over, and he's like turning around going, like gagging so much. I was thinking, oh shit. This is the shaman.
Shaman's gagging. Yeah,
the shaman. And so then he's made him stop all the music, stop everything, right? So it's now quiet. And he's just doing this, and I'm thinking, and he's like going away, like the energy is the worst it could be. And I was thinking, what's the worst thing? Someone's died. I was thinking, nah. Like at the time, I remember thinking, because you don't know what time it is. All I know is it's dark, and when it gets light, I should be back to normal. But you don't know, right? And I'm thinking, please, not on this one, not on my experience. Please, like, don't tell me someone's died next to me, because that's going like, how the hell do you deal with that if that is?
Not biased.
And yeah, and so this is going on. He's anyway. Then he's gone behind me, and he starts throwing up. The shaman throwing up like. This has gone on for like. Again, I don't know the time, but like probably like 15 minutes or something. Then, anyway, after a little while, it's carried on. The guy was back, all like fine. And I thought, what the fuck, that was weird. Guys carried on. And to be, lad, I was the most positive in the whole group, yeah. So at the time, when I thought it was all right, I thought, let me just I don't like this negative energy. Let me try and get it going. Like, I was like, come on, be positive, yeah. And he's like, no. I was like, oh shit. I was thinking, oh shit, this is bad. Yeah. So anyway,
trying to change the energy.
Yeah, I was trying to get the party back going. Yeah. But I'll explain what happened to him earlier. But then, so another situation, someone opposite me, a lady, the guy next to her, sorry, he got up and the shaman went over and he was in like mad stomach cramps. Like everyone's throwing up, but don't affect your stomach or anything. And he was getting bad cramp in a place, couldn't get rid of him. Shaman brought him over to the fire, made him put a hand over the fire and a hand here to like burn off this energy in his stomach and stuff. And the guy then ended up going toilet and got rid of it all and it
shit himself.
Yeah, basically, and they got rid of all this pain though. And so at the end, when there was a few other situations like this, right? At the end, when everyone was talking about the experience and stuff, like the guy that I thought was dead, like he said, basically like the shaman came over right at the perfect time where in his journey and with Mother Ayahuasca, he couldn't get past whatever it was that he had to get past to get through this trauma, to get through, like he just was holding on, he couldn't let go, he couldn't get through it. And so the shaman had to come over, take that from him, help him, throw it up kind of for him, yeah. And then he said as soon as the shaman did that, he said he just let it go. And he said like, then after, he's like, literally that's just changed me forever. Like he let go of whatever it was holding him back and stuff like that. And the woman opposite, she was the one that had lost a child. Yeah, and so obviously in her stomach, but she got to a point where her body just couldn't take it anymore. Like it's getting too intense. She couldn't think, and the guy next to him, I keep saying him, he then got the cramps there in the thing, and like he had to deal with it. And then as soon as he had like burnt that off and gone to toilet stuff, then she got over it, and like it was weird. It was
her energy jumped.
It was all him. Like connected.
Is this why the shaman was making a gagging noise?
Yeah, he threw up. He physically threw up. The shaman for this guy, not putting his hands down for like the sick. Like literally, this is what I'm saying. When you've seen this stuff, you're like, what have I just witnessed? This guy's just vouched for it. I've seen sick come out this guy's mouth, and this guy's then got over it. This lady that lost a child, the guy next to her has now had the stomach cramps.
He's not even a shaman.
No, but it's because you're all in it. It's like the energy's so connected. It's like there was a few things like this which were wild for me. So I forgot to say, it's called purging, right? And that's when you're throwing up. Or some people do it the other way, but so like I threw up so many times, right? But you've been eating a small diet. You don't really eat for the day of it. I threw up already on the first thing, which kind of cleanses your body. So like you got nothing left in you anyway. But when you get to certain points, because things are so deeply embedded in you, right, and in your body and your chemicals, and you're holding on to things, that's what trauma is. You hold on to certain things that then later in life it's still in you, and that's things get passed through generations as well. There's a lot of evidence to show if something happened to your parents at a certain period or something, you go through something at that same kind of age and stuff, because it's kind of in your DNA. It's all locked within you. This purging is like, it's such deep cleanse of your body. It can release this sort of stuff and get it out of you, and that's what allows you to move on. So there was like someone that literally said they'd gone back to like the times of like their ancestors, and he was connecting with like them and things like that. Mad stories when you heard people. But for me, I got to certain points where it was about, I just had to let go of some toxicness within me kind of thing. And even when it got into like a relationship with like me and Ella, and just saying like certain things deep inside of me and whatever I just need to get rid of. Not that we had like some mad toxic relationship, but I just got to points of certain things, and it was like, wasn't just about that, but literally you're throwing up, right? Then so it's, my vibe was like, you got to get this out of you, got to get it out of you. Throw up a few times, but like mad, like then you think you've got nothing left in you, and when my ayahuasca is kind of trying to tell you to throw up again, I was getting like grit in my teeth, yeah, like full on dirt. Like I was trying to see, like if you're drunk and you try and breathe, you can hold it. I sip of water, I'd sip my water, like my mouth was just getting worse and worse. Feels like gritty, feels like literally like someone's just shoved soil in your mouth. That so much so you're like, you can't do anything. Like it's literally making you get it out of you, right? and then like you're thrown up, it's just like dirt, like deep from within your body, like it's mental. Anyway, and then it goes through the thing where you feel like it's better, and I started getting the answers and things started to work out, and I thought, you know what, I've got the answers, I know what to do now, etc. But then it kind of came back round on a cycle where Mother House is like, no, there's still more deeper within you, we need to get out, like you need to throw up. Literally, and I was like, no. In my head, I'm thinking, no, I'm done. But my advice was like, no, it's deep within you. And I was thinking, no. Literally, first time the Shaman, yeah, he's playing music, looking that way, whatever. Then when like this happens, he literally stopped what he's doing, turned around, looked at me, like straight away, like perfect timing. I've not said nothing, done anything different. But literally, as it was saying, like, it's so deep, you've got to get this out. And I was thinking, I can't, like, he stopped, walked straight over to me, didn't say anything, picked up this big drum thing, walks behind me, starts banging the drum, yeah, like near my back, like towards the lower of my back, just smashing in this drum behind me, so the vibrations are all behind me on my back. And then he starts moving it up my back sort of slowly, not hitting my back but hitting the drum right close to me, a big ass drum. And then literally, then it's literally just getting it, and then I've just gone, like, mate, I've just thrown up.
So spooky.
It's
like,
all to do with energy.
Mate,
yeah.
It's mental, and I've thrown up everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, what are you even throwing up? 'Cause you haven't even eating or
Mate,
drinking.
just such deepness from your body that it's mad. And then he literally nothing said, and then he walked away, and I didn't throw up again for the rest of the night, and that was it. That's all I needed, yeah. Bless you. Whereas someone opposite, she threw up and he stayed with her so he knew the job was done. He knew he needed to help me, stopped, came over, helped me, threw up. I then got over it. That was it. That was the last time I had to throw up or get over something in that whole experience. He only came over to me once, and he knew, I'm talking within the seconds, he knew how to do it, yeah. Then someone like opposite me though, when she was throwing up, he knew he had to stay with her for like half hour, and she just kept throwing up. And again, like, he knew that she needed to keep going, and he was just there helping her in a different way. And then when he walked away, she didn't throw up again. Like, it's mad, mate.
So once you finish the experience, you said you all sit around and kind of talk about your experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, are you still in a daze? Like, how long does it take you to actually get over what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, so I was actually the first one to come out of...
You're the first one to go in, I suppose.
No, we all done it at the same time, the Ayahuasca. I was the first one to come out of the trip. And so, but I kind of knew it was drifting off a little bit before that, so I was just lying there quietly on my little rug thing, blanket. But he had also said, like, if they feel like you need more, at some point they might come over and offer. And then they said, like, you know, you should take it if they're getting told they need it. So anyway, I just came out of the trip, but come back to normal. Hadn't moved my body, hadn't done anything different, right? There's a few of us, there's 12 of us there. Well, if they're going around, they're doing anything. They're not looking at you to see if whatever. But then, as soon as I came out, and I felt great and I was good. But then, for the first time of the night, my energy dropped from positive. Like, I was so positive the whole night, for a split second, I thought, fuck, what if, like, I knew I was done and I was happy to be done. And for a split second, I thought, fuck, what if they come over and offer me more? And I don't want it, but they said, like, we recommend you take it if they offer. So my heart dropped for a second. My energy just went from positive to negative, yeah? But I've not moved. I've not done anything. I'm not joking. When I say, yeah, it felt like my heart dropped, yeah? And as my heart dropped, him and his wife, without saying a word to each other, both just spun around at the same time, looked at me, and I thought, oh shit. And I thought, then she started walking over. I thought, oh no, she's gonna... Yeah, but like, mate, like, you don't understand, like, because unless you was there, you see, like, when I say I'm over here, they're over the other flipping part of, they're not me to you, they're like over there, not looking at me, backs turned. And I'm saying the second my heart dropped and the energy went from positive to negative, they both just went, turned and like looked at me and like knew straight away. I'm thinking, what the fuck? And then so they came over to me, and she came over and she said, oh, like, are you okay? Like, how you know, whatever. And I said, yeah, like, I'm out on my trip. It was like, you know, incredible. And she kind of lightly said, did you want any more? I said, no. And she said, okay, that's fine. I respected my decision and kind of walked off. But like, things like that is mad. It's like literally the energy. You can feel it so much. You can feel the energy. And then it's, since then, it opened my mind that I thought, at first you think, oh, that's all spiritual and weird, but it's not, because everyone understands that what frequencies are. So if you actually break it down, it's actually just scientifically proven. Like he spoke, like he talked about the trees and the stars, and like for me, when there was the stars, there was a certain star that I felt so much like energy from, and like he said, you know, if you, the thing that he did with the fire is taking that energy from the fire, and he said I think it goes through your left hand, which is your receiving hand, and your giving hand kind of helps to burn things off. He said you could do it with trees and stuff like that, like trees with a lot of energy can help heal you certain things. And he said just the energy they have. Every living thing has energy, so everyone agrees with that. They have vibrations, everyone agrees with that, and frequencies, everyone agrees with that. So then it's like, look, we all know that the sun, for instance, affects our mood, and the moon affects our mood. The sun, when it's shining and it's out and it's bright, we're often happier, and when it's not, we're sadder. We kind of all are aware that these energies affect us every day, but obviously you're not constantly think of it, but everyone agrees with it. Yeah. So then when you think, well, all these other stars have energies as well, like just like the sun, they, you know, they're just a bit further or whatever, they will have huge energy. Different times of the year, you know, you're at different points, there's different energies and vibrations. The trees, there's different vibrations. So you start kind of, your mind's open to like, actually these things, like everyone, you feel the energy in a room, even if you had your eyes closed. If like 10 gangsters walked in a room, or male, you know, compared to 10 female, you'd feel this.
It's like when you can tell someone's looking at you.
Yeah, you'd feel,
and your eyes are closed,
yeah.
and then you like your girlfriend's looking at you.
Do you feel that more now?
Yeah, so you'd feel the energy. So what I mean is it makes sense, all of these things. Like it's actually just, yeah, like it's science. You understand, and you understand when people talk about energy, but then when you start thinking of things like people would have heard of the law of attraction and the frequencies and how that brings people together, and then you start thinking, you know what, that is so true. Like it's science. It makes so much sense. Like you're just giving out different vibrations. You need to meet the vibrations of, you know, people in the same way you're trying to head and stuff like that, and it will bring you together, and it kind of just opens your mind to a whole load of different things like that, and it's life-changing, really. It is life-changing for it. And what I think I need to do a lot more is I don't reflect on it enough, because when I reflect on it, if I ever do, like, I need to get back into meditating. I used to meditate and stuff, and it's so good when you can meditate, and I need to start actually doing that a lot more. And when you do things like meditation and stuff, and it brings you back to that moment, and there's so much wisdom there, like, kind of thing, from that experience, so much to learn from, so much wisdom, so much understanding of myself and humans and the world and the universe and all of this. Like, it's like you need to try and bring yourself back to that moment, and yeah.
So to wrap it up, if there's somebody out there who's thinking of doing it, what would be your positives and your negatives?
Yeah, so
do you have to wait for the call?
Yeah, I'm going to be one of them guys now.
Like, it sounds like a way to win it. It will call you. A number, but it will call
like,
you.
I think
I
think for me, like, now I've done it, I could quite comfortably say that if I need it again, when the time's right, it will call me as such, right? For me, because I've done it, I understand it, and that makes sense. But for someone that hasn't, I think, don't rush into it, for sure. Don't think this is just the winning lottery ticket to, you know, change your life. I think you've got to be very open-minded. Definitely, you need to, if you're going to do it, you need to research a lot. Don't do it, you know, and make sure you do it in one of those countries, whether it's Mexico or Peru or wherever else, those types of countries, native countries. Make sure you do a lot of research. Try and have a recommendation. You need to give yourself at least a week or two before and after as well, because you've got to continue the diet after, and you've got to take. You cannot go from after. You cannot just go flying back into like the real world as such. You need to be. You can't
life-changing.
You can't go back to a 9 to 5 the next day. Like, you know, like you've got to protect your brain and stuff like that, because it's kind of reopened it all to the thing. You now need positive stuff around you, like, you know, over the next couple of weeks. So you need a good few weeks. Find a good retreat that's hopefully been recommended with a trustworthy shaman. I think it can help you on where you want to go in life. It can help you if you've had traumas. It can help you if you're trying to get over addictions. I mean, they say it's helped a lot of people with, you know, diseases, to cure diseases and things like cancers and all sorts. Like I say, this is it's a medicine that's been going for thousands of years. You know, it's not, most medicines we know of have been going less than 100 years, right? These medicines have been going for thousands of years, and there's a lot of power to having these natural kind of substances to be able to help you in a whole array of things, really, and open your eyes to stuff. But yeah, I think overall it's you got, you know, you'll know if you're the type of person that it isn't. I'll add, like the people there was a whole mix of people. It's not no one was really like me, you know. It's like I say, it's for all ages, all types of people, all walks of life, whether it's business or not business. Most people probably isn't. A lot of it was trauma and stuff like that, or addictions. But yeah, you'll know in yourself if I think you're the type of person.
So when I said asked, is there positives and negatives towards it, that you would say there's no negatives?
I'd say the negatives are the making sure. Yeah, the negatives are it's a really, really, really intense thing to do.
Yeah, I don't think I could.
It's
I
like
I
it's
handle it.
yeah, it's seriously intense.
Yeah.
Like you leave your body, like you're not with your body. You kind of,
you've got to be in the right mindset.
you have to be in the right mindset, and you're going to leave your body basically, and then different, you know, there's things where they've not managed to come back to their body and stuff like that, or it's taken weeks and they've had to work with
is
them.
that actually a thing where
Yeah.
people haven't? Because, you know, like magic mushrooms, for example, you hear stories of someone who was never the same. They thought they was the emperor.
That's what I was
I've got a
most
story actually about this. I think with psilocybin and magic mushrooms, I think the mainstream media have created a lot of propaganda around it. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of the things you hear. In some cases it might be, but I know with ayahuasca, my auntie, she's massively spiritual. She lived in Mexico for about 3 years. She's gone through a lot of trauma in her life that she hasn't really accepted, and I don't think she's really where she wants to be in life. Respectfully, she done ayahuasca, and she said it just it completely broke her down. She was crying apparently for 2 days after, because she said she realised stuff about her life what she wasn't ready to realise. And it's not like she had this bad trip and was seeing things that didn't exist. It was the reality of the situation which was so scary for her with her life. So I think with ayahuasca, again, I'm not an expert, I haven't done it before, but you have to be ready to understand yourself deep within before you do it. Like, I don't think personally for me, I'm ready to do it yet, because there's some stuff probably I still need to deal with. So I think if you are going to do it, you have to properly research it, right?
Yeah.
And you have to take it seriously, and you probably have to be ready.
Yeah, and you need to listen to more than just me speaking here on this podcast. Go and listen to a whole load of videos and podcasts and whatever else videos you can. Do your research. And I think the thing is, if you do take it, you need to it will take you where you need to go. And there's nothing, like I say, there's cases where they've taken people back to birth. You can tap into any memory ever lived, basically. So it will guide you down certain paths and kind of present the doors to you, and you need to be brave and walk through those doors and kind of relive what it's trying to show you, because that's how it's going to help you move forward. Like I say, for me it's different, because I didn't go down I wasn't there for trauma. It wasn't really that negative for me, but I witnessed other people and I understand how it would work, kind of thing. So yeah, just do your research, take your time, don't rush into it, make sure you go to the right place, make sure you're in the right mindset. The mindset though, that's the thing. It's not, I'm not saying you need to be a very positive person. Well, what I'm trying to say is there was a lot of people there that had gone through a lot of things. They weren't going to be the most bubbly, happy, yeah, I'll do it. So the mindset, yes, you need to be ready to do it, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be in the best place you've ever been in your life. You just need to be ready to kind of tackle this, and it will help you, and it can help you a lot. So there's a lot of lessons that will come from it. You'll feel a lot. You just
how do you think it's actually? You said it's life changing.
Yeah.
How's it like? Just to wrap up though, but how do you think it's changed your relationships? How do you think and your business perspective? Because that's the way
so
you did it.
Here's the other thing. It not necessarily the next day. You know, it's not the next day you've got a full plan. But what happened is, I came back and I've been much more positive. I was clear. I chose the building. I've figured out certain things with relationships with friends, family, girlfriend, etc. And just a lot clearer, a bit less lost, and just opened my eyes to the things I just spoke about. Just a whole just the universe as a whole, because you know what I mean? It's just mad.
Oh,
Like
wow,
it is mad, and it will open
Yeah.
your eyes to so many things. It open your eyes to, you see things like the pyramids, and like when I was there at the Chichen Itza, which is a similar thing in Mexico, where you know the whole stuff where it was built to the perfect degree, and we won't go into all of that, but all the shapes and the patterns and all the precision, that stuff, you start to realize that is, they definitely was doing like ayahuasca or something similar, which is what they've all said is, trust me, that's the reason they managed to do these crazy things. Like you'll realize so much of history they was using this. That's why they've said it's been used for thousands of years. Suddenly this certain stuff starts making sense. Like it's like the higher power. It's like you're connecting with a god or whatever. It's just the real higher power. You realize that there is a higher power there. Like you wouldn't want to piss her off, mate, because it's like, yeah, it's like, wow, that is powerful, like out of this world and universe. But yeah, it's just helped me just, you know, be clear, focused, took the right path, did very, you know, it shows in the business where we've come in the last 12 months and where we're heading. And yeah, for me, and it's just good for when I do reflect back, you can learn a lot. There's a lot of wisdom from kind of everything you learn.
That's incredible. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
It's going to be an interesting listen for sure. It's interesting just listening to it.
Yeah.